the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
To focus not on cases, but on hospitalizations and hospital capacity concerns.
The January 6th committee holds another public hearing today, and ABC's Rachel Scott says they're expected to focus on the buildup to January 6th.
They'll be zeroing in on a tweet from former President Donald Trump urging his supporters to be there on January 6th, saying that it would be wild. They will say that those words served as a signal to extremist groups like the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys.
A New York Times Siena poll finds 75% of Republican primary voters believe Donald Trump was exercising his right to contest the election January 6th. The aviation industry struggled to keep up with demand this summer. London's Heathrow Airport is now instituting a daily limit on the number of passengers who can depart. ABC's Tom Rivers has more from London.
No more than 100,000 daily passengers will be able to depart from now until the end of September. The airport says it's ordered airlines to stop selling summer tickets to limit the impact on passengers. The measure will lead to more cancellations on top of the thousands of flights axed in recent months.
The U.S. has a top ISIS leader was killed in a drone strike overnight in northwest Syria. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Iran is helping Russia with drones.
Our information indicates that the Iranian government is preparing to provide Russia with up to several hundred UAVs, including weapons-capable UAVs, on an expedited timeline.
President Biden departs for the Middle East today. You're listening to ABC News.
Stress. It never seems to end when you owe money to the IRS. What about the years of unfiled tax returns? Have you tried another tax service and gotten nowhere? Then you need Tax Alliance. Why? Years of being A+ rated with a Better Business Bureau with no consumer complaints sets them apart. Call 800-987-1097. That's 800-987-1097. Don't wait until the IRS attacks your wages, bank account, your home or pension, and even your Social Security check. Tax Alliance specializes in IRS tax relief programs, including the Fresh Start Initiative, which can finally free yourself from IRS debt. Their tax professionals can file returns, fight the IRS to substantially lower your IRS debt, or possibly even have it forgiven. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes, have unfiled tax returns, or have a payment plan and are still frustrated, call 800-987-1097. That's 800-987-1097.
Tax Alliance, your tax resolution solution.
The First Lady coming under criticism for remarks she made to the country's largest Latino civil rights group. Dr. Jill Biden in San Antonio said,
"The diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio, is your strength."
The National Association of Hispanic Journalists saying, quote, "We are not tacos." The search is on in New York City for a suspect in 3 stabbing attacks, all of them targeting homeless people. More from ABC's Jim Dolan.
On July 5th, a 34-year-old man resting on a bench was stabbed and later died from his injuries. On the 8th, a 59-year-old man described by police as homeless was stabbed in the abdomen and hospitalized. Police say they have video and photos of the same man at all 3 locations near the times of the attacks.
The third attack was Monday. A 28-year-old woman was hurt. The Department of Justice is now getting involved in a professional golf spat. Investigators say they're looking into whether the PGA Tour violated any antitrust rules when it banned players who signed on with the rival Live Golf Tour, which is backed by Saudi Arabia. This is ABC News.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and build that papier-mâché volcano.
I am not cleaning this up.
Ooh, yeah, I meant the kids. Staples will help them move forward. Right now, Crayola 24-count crayons and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. N716 in-store only, limit 30.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Today will be a dry one, but a cold front is on the way. That cold front will arrive by Wednesday and bring the potential for showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong to severe, where isolated flooding cannot be ruled out, and the potential for damaging wind speeds. Look for highs in the lower 90s, and the feels like temperatures today will top in the upper 90s. We do have temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s for tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now we're 70 degrees on this terrific Tuesday morning, 70 degrees, and we're expecting to get up somewhere around 91 for our daytime high today, dropping back to 73 tonight with light wind throughout today. Today, no rain in the forecast just yet. Have a wonderful day, folks. It is a terrific Tuesday.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, a very pleasant good morning, Butch. How you doing this morning?
Great. You know what? We came on the air right in between our pre-program conversations. You know, I've had people ask before. They'll say, I'm on YouTube and I see you two talking. What are you talking about? Well, we talk about all sorts of things. We try to encourage each other. You know, Scripture makes it clear that we're to encourage each other in the faith, and that's one of the reasons why we need each other. You know I have blind spots. I know I have blind spots, and I want people that love me and are interested in me staying on the right path to call attention to the fact when I stray, Jim.
And we have fun.
And we do, and we do have fun. Now listen, I want to get this off my chest. Okay? And usually when I say I want to get something off my chest, Jim later will say to me, okay, my eyes got a little big because I wasn't quite sure what you were going to get off your chest, but you usually go with me, Jim. I want to talk real quickly. We're going to talk about two things today. Okay. We're going to talk about truth, and we're going to talk about peanuts. Truth and peanuts. Those are separate things. There's not really a correlative conjunction or a bridge between the two. So let's assume we're going to talk about truth first and then peanuts second. You know, it says in Scripture the truth is going to set us free. It's made very clear in Scripture that God is the author of truth and Satan is the father of lies. And, you know, I want to talk about real quickly about in our county how lies are venereal. They can spread very quickly because people will often jump on the bandwagon and never ask the question, is this truth or not? Yeah. And Jim, I'm going to give a couple of examples. These are real examples. It's not said with a mean spirit or with a mean heart or any acrimony in me at all. I have no bones to pick. I have no issues with any people when I'm saying this, but I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so here's a post. This post is from Mark Johnson. He is with the America First Action Committee. Okay, we believe that everybody who believes in conservative values ought to go ahead and express that however you want to. There's lots of room in our county for things. There's not room, though, for putting a picture of a meeting that's not the picture of your meeting. That's a problem. That is not truth-telling, okay? Record crowds or the room was full. That's not the room at the annex where the meeting was. So what do you call that?
Call it a lie.
You call it a lie. So why would you do that? Why would you put a picture that's not a picture inferring that it's the meeting? You do it to try to reflect lots of people that were there. And if you upsize the picture, it's a bunch of young people. It looks like a rock concert. So, and there are no windows in the rooms at the annex, and there are windows in this picture. That's not right. You shouldn't do that. It leads people to a conclusion that is not truth. So in ways that are not angry, I'm just saying that's really sad to me. It's sad because what it says is that extremism or exaggeration, or in this case, outright fabrication is okay. And it's not.
And one of the sad things, too, also, Butch, is that people believe it when they see it on Facebook. Yeah. They think that's the actual truth for the matter. When you really dig down deep into it, there's not much truth to a lot of those things on Facebook.
It's just a concern. And listen, I like Mark. I've had lunch with him before. He is a dedicated Republican, conservative. He's somebody that means a lot and has meant a lot to the county. Mark, you're better. You're better than that. And listen, I don't have stones to throw because I have many cases in my life, as a Democrat especially, in my decades as a Democrat, where I took liberty and license with the truth, and God calls us to a higher standard. Here's the second thing, and then we'll get on to peanuts in just a second. So here is an exchange on Facebook. Wow, Hobby Lobby, bring on the crafts. Is that what it is? Great news. So grateful it's not in Boiling Springs. And then somebody jumps in here, John Dobson, will probably be staffed with people from the Nut Job Church over there. Okay, so here we have the start of a rumor that Hobby Lobby is going to employ people from Word of Faith Fellowship, which is my church. Then you get everybody, not everybody, but you get people that are predisposed. So here we have somebody saying, John, what is the Nut Job Church? Well, the one that had the restaurant in Tryon, where all the staff behaved and looked like Stepford wives, based in Spindale. It's a cult. And then all of a sudden we get people out of the digital woodwork saying, yeah, it's gone now. It's not there anymore. Word of Faith used to own Cafe at the mall. Okay, well, here's a lie. The church doesn't own any businesses. But that lie gets reinforced and reinforced. Here's somebody, okay, John, saying the Lord to you, Word of Faith used to own Cafe at the mall. That's not true. I know Liz.
I know Liz.
You know Liz.
Liz is a good friend.
Yeah, and it's just never been true. It shut down during the pandemic. They certainly did control where the church people worked. That's not true. Nobody gave me permission to come over here and be involved at WCAB. I don't ask my pastors for permission to do those things. It's just a lie. And so people worked and would receive a fair amount of their salaries in exchange for food and housing. It's power and control. That's an absolute lie. Nobody is giving their paychecks to the church. So why do people traffic in the untruth? I don't know. That church owns a lot of businesses around Spindale. Oh, really? Which ones? We have people that go to our church. Christopher has an accounting firm. Open Box. The bicycle place there, that's an entrepreneur from our church. The church doesn't own those places.
There's a lot of people in my church that own their own business.
Yeah, really?
Florence Baptist Church.
Florence Baptist Church. They
own their own business.
Yes, I know. Anyway, there's a documentary. It's very well done. It's spot on. So it goes on and on and on. And Jim, the sad thing is, as a county, we're better than this. And look, I'm not a paid employee of the church. If you have questions about the church, I've done this before, and I've had people say, you're foolish. 828-755-5141. If you want to discuss, you want to bring an allegation, we've had people say that children are beat up at our church. Name one. Tell me one. Give me the name, and I'll call Chris Francis.
Yeah, sure.
So you call and tell me who it is, and I'll be the first one to get on the phone with law enforcement. So I'm stirred only in the sense that I know how these things happen. I used to watch what they did to Alex Chicos, my friend, in the 5th grade, Jim. He had a clubbed foot, and the children made fun of him. Mm-hmm. They made fun of him. He drug his foot. You know what a clubbed foot is?
Sure.
And I remember after lunch one day, I stood up in front of the class. It was in the 5th grade, Ms. Davis. And I asked Ms. Davis, can I speak to the class? I always had this in me, Jim. And I stood up and I said, Alex Chicos is my friend. And we need to be nice to him. You know what happened? I got shunned. Mm-hmm. Well, it was good preparation for coming to Rutherford County. I hate injustice, and I don't like it. Neither does the living God who made the universe and all things in it and loves all of us. He's not willing that any should perish. I don't like injustice, whether it's racism, whether it's social classism, or whether it's an attack against a church that God in his providence and plan has used remarkably in my life. Nobody else in this county is consulted for Billy Graham. Nobody else in this county is consulted for Charles Stanley, or for Adrian Rogers, or for Jack Graham at Prestonwood Baptist Church, or Tony Evans, or James Dobson. I don't come from some reckless background These are all people that I called friends and people that paid handsomely to get my insight and counsel. I'm saying that with humility. So we need to stop already. We need to stop with the hitting of the hornet's nest and then wondering why people get stung with the untruths that are out there, Jim.
Yeah, you have to wonder why so many people are so distraught, because they're following lies instead of the truth.
Right.
And lies will drag you down. It'll drag you down. It'll sap
Right.
you of all your energy, sap you of your spirituality, it'll zap you of everything. Lies are not good.
Right. Okay. So we agree on this. Jim goes to Florence Baptist Church, by the way. He sometimes gets attacked by people that say he's a word of faith person. I never see him in church there. You come to some occasional events like graduations, weddings, and the like. Goes to Florence Baptist Church, wonderful church in our county.
Yes.
Iconic church in our county. Life-giving church in our county. And we've got 230 some odd churches in our county. So God loves each of us and all of us, and he's drawing us. Our Constitution protects the right to worship in the way that we're led. We live biblically. Now, we have some lifestyle issues that a number of people say that's not for me. Okay, but the Constitution gives us the right to worship in a way that's consistent with the convictions God's put on our heart. And I am a person that's being transformed by the day, not by a church, but by a fellowship of people that want to live in God's way. And I can tell you this as somebody that's gone to 104 countries, every inhabited continent in the world, and consulted for ministries and iconic leaders worldwide. I know that God brought me here to Rutherford County. I'm not leaving. And every time, Jim, that we have untruth about ethnic groups or people groups or churches or anybody, we're going to call that out, because what makes America great is when we let ourselves be aligned with what truth is and not get sucked into the toilet bowl of rumor, innuendo, gossip, all fueled by the catalyst of social media. People think you can say anything and it's okay. It's not okay. And by the way, just real quickly, the defamation lawsuits in this country are just exploding because people think it's okay to recklessly say things. Incitement, many more cases around the country. A lot of these shootings, there are social media dimensions to all of it. So we have to be really, really careful.
Absolutely, we do. Let me share this quick story about church. We had Sunday morning, we had a really great service with young people who just got back from youth camp.
Yeah.
I've not seen young people so spirit-filled in a long time as I saw Sunday morning.
They were energized.
Yes, oh yes. And lives were changed. So, where's the criticism about young people really taking a hold of their lives and letting Christ lead them? It could have been, that's not for us. We got to go with the social crowd. No, these young people step forward and said there's something better in life than following the Facebook crowd and
that is such a good example. And you know what? It's not the only litmus test, but a key litmus test for any group of people or any church is to ask the question, what is the fruit?
Yeah.
What is the fruit? And just like young people that came back from a camp experience, energized to bring the gospel into their community, or the fruit of a lot of lives. I mean, all you have to do is go to the 3 times a week testimonies, Jim. It's extremely unusual to have parishioners say, I was a victim of sex trafficking. God changed my heart. I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I was somebody that had serial relationships. I was somebody with sexual addictions. It just doesn't happen very much. And right here in our county, we have people that are opening their heart, not to say we're better, ever. We're not. We all need Jesus. And so I had that little thing in me, and I felt compelled this morning to just share that. So
I'm glad you did.
And just real quickly, anybody whose name I've mentioned here, I love you. I care for you. I'm willing to meet with you. I'm willing to talk through whatever your concerns are. So, feel free to reach out to me, 828-755-5141. Okay, let's talk about peanuts for a minute.
You're not talking about Charles Schultz's peanuts.
No, I'm not talking about Charles Schultz peanuts. But you know what's really interesting? When I go to Exxon to get my coffee in the morning, by the way, they've got new coffee machines there where you get it ground right in the moment, so it's a fresh cup every time. But I kept looking over and seeing people that were getting their boiled peanuts in the morning. And I thought to myself, okay, I know at some point I'm going to need to know a little bit more about the history. So let me say this real quickly. This is the Peanut Patch Original Boiled Peanuts. This is going to be a giveaway this morning. If there's, Jim, in the history of WCAB, I don't know that you've ever given away boiled peanuts.
Never.
In just a moment, we're going to give a phone number. Jim's going to give a phone number. And if you're a boiled peanut aficionado, you're going to have the opportunity to get a whole can here. But here's what I learned. By the way, peanuts are a versatile and widely consumed nut in the United States. You know, sometimes before I go to bed, I'll confess this, I love to get a dollop of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And you know what I've said to myself, and this may be self-deception. If it is, you tell me. I'll say to myself, a little bit of protein before you go to bed is good.
I agree with you.
Don't agree with me if it's not right. So they're a versatile and widely consumed nut in the United States. Jim, in 2021, around 6.4 billion pounds of peanuts were produced in the United States. So, anyway, what about boiled peanuts? Where do these come from? Well, listen to this real quickly. Road trips through the South aren't complete without pulling over to a roadside stand to pick up a supply of boiled peanuts. While people raised on crunchy peanuts may find their boiled cousins to be an acquired taste, Southerners know that they're truly, truly a delicacy. Peanuts are originally from South America, but scientists are pretty sure the plants took the long way around, coming to the South from Africa. The Portuguese took the peanut plant to Africa around 1500. Peanuts quickly became a culinary staple. The legumes eventually made their way to the South on board slave ships, which were stocked with peanuts for the long voyage. They were primarily grown and consumed by African-American families, according to Serious Eats, like okra and black-eyed peas. Before them, peanuts eventually made their way to the dining rooms of white families. For instance, the first peanut recipe to be included in a Southern cookbook was a recipe for ground nut soup, a staple in the diets of many African nations, which was featured in Sarah Rutledge's 1847 Carolina Housewife. According to Andrew Smith, in Peanuts, The History of the Goober Pea. It was around the Civil War that peanuts became a more common snack, partially because people were hungry and peanuts were available. According to Smith's research, during the war, Southerners started using peanuts for everything from oiling the machinery to acting as a coffee substitute and a snack. While some historians claim Confederate troops boiled peanuts to carry in their pack, like most tales of foods being invented during wartime, that is not true. Now, boiled peanuts didn't become a Southern icon until the turn of the 20th century. That was when boiled peanuts started to be featured in South Carolina newspapers, Jim.
Yeah, how about that?
You're homegrown.
Yes,
aren't
absolutely.
You? In South Carolina newspapers as the snack of choice among Southern society. Boiled peanuts were quite the fashionable thing to serve at weddings and parties in early 1900s, especially among weddings held in August and September when fresh green peanuts had just been harvested. The practice of boiling peanuts soon spread from South Carolina across Virginia, Georgia, Florida. By the 1920s, boiled peanuts were popular across the peanut-growing swath of the South, where farmers had easy access to the green nuts to throw in the pot. So, Jim, we're going to give these away.
You know how much sugar's in this? Absolutely zero. No sugar at all in these peanuts.
Okay, he's now become a promoter, boiled peanuts promoter. How can somebody get this if they want it?
Be caller number 3 at 287-3356. Caller number 3 at 287-3356. You got yourself a big 6-pound can of boiled peanuts, original freshly packed peanut patch peanuts.
Now, you know what, folks? Let me. He doesn't know I'm going to do this. Jim, why don't you take a Sharpie and you autograph this too?
I can do that.
Okay, so it'll be a Jim Bishop autograph peanut patch original boiled peanuts. Folks, that is a social gathering in a can. Caller number 3. I hear the phone. And what's that number again?
287-3356. Caller number 3.
Okay, make sure after we're done that you can get a Sharpie and you put Jim Bishop in a black. There, he's going to do. He's going to do it right now. Okay, well, let me also say this: that American history. You know, one of the things that makes America great is when you get down into the history, Jim, you find all kinds of examples of how simple things like the peanut are woven into the warp and woof. You know, my grandmother used to use that phrase.
Woof?
Warp, not woof. People call my church woof. No, warp and woof. warp and woof. Okay, don't get laughing now. Okay, we're not going to be foolish. All right, so anyway, peanuts are very ingrained in the history of our country. And, of course, growing up, I learned all about George Washington Carver. Listen to this. This is in this wonderful, the American Patriots Bible. At some point, we're going to have one of those to give away. I know James Lee, the pastor, who's done the editorial notes here. George Washington Carver, and we'll end with this, 1864 to 1943, was a fabulous chemist of international fame in the field of agriculture. He, of course, was African American. Much of his fame was based on his research and promotion of alternative crops to soil-depleting cotton, such as the peanut, soybean, pecan, and sweet potato. He wanted poor farmers to grow alternative crops as both a source of their own food as well as a source of other products to improve their quality of life. In 1921, Carver spoke in favor of a peanut tariff before the Ways and Means Committee of the United States House of Representatives. At the time, it was unusual for a black person to be called as an expert on anything. He also detailed the potential uses of the peanut and other new crops to improve the economy of the South. At the end of his address, Jim, the chairman of the committee asked Dr. Carver, "How did you learn all these things?"
We have a winner. We have a winner. Frank Lee is the winner of the peanuts. Frank Lee.
Frank Lee, if you come by WCAB, we've got Jim Bishop's signature there. We've got this huge, real Southern style peanut patch, freshly packed original boiled peanuts, non-GMO, gluten-free, protein-rich, no artificial flavors or colors, and zero sugar. That's for you to pick up. Dr. Carver, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, asked him, "How did you learn all these things?" Carver answered, "From an old book." "What book?" Carver replied, "The Bible." The senator then inquired, "Does the Bible tell us about peanuts?" To which he said, "No, sir, but it tells about the God who made the peanut, and I asked him to show me what to do with the peanut, and he did."
How about that? That's a great story.
You know, all we have to do, it tells us in the Psalms, the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies declare the work of his hands. If we take the time to get out of the hustle and the bustle and the frenetic nature of our life and look around, Jim, we will see creation crying out with the impulse of a creator who, when he said, "Let there be light," created a universe that astronomers that don't even love Jesus tell us is still expanding. The power of God in that moment is being felt today. And you know what? It's that same power. It's that same power that can be applied to any life and change it. So when we look at the political morass that we're in, don't get sucked into the Biden said, Trump said, he said, they said. It's important to be a consumer of what the facts are. But let's remember again, the only way a nation changes is when hearts change. And we need to remember that these 20-somethings, most of them were in their 20s, the founding fathers. These 20-somethings, millennials of their day, if you will, were the ones who knew that the organizing principle of a nation would have to be an understanding that there is a God, that he exists, and he rewards those, as it says in the New Testament, rewards those who diligently seek him. So in the midst of all of our political debates, which are so important, in the midst of all of our conversations about where we are as a nation, and we're in trouble on so many different levels, let's not forget there's one solution. And like you often say, Jim, let's keep the main thing the main thing. We cannot legislate our way back into a nation that's founded on godly principles.
And sometimes to gain that wisdom and guidance, we have to be still and listen and know who's in charge.
That is so interesting that you said that. That's a verse God's really put on my heart. He recently told me, make sure that you're not just busy. Make sure that you're doing my will. In the spirit of John 5:30, Jesus only did what God directed him to do. So let the purpose of your heart today be, I'm going to help make America greater and Rutherford County greater by tending to my own garden of my heart. And as I do that, and as we lock arms and move together in love, even calling out some of these issues earlier this morning. It's done in a spirit of love. I love the people that are saying these things. I do, from the bottom of my heart. I just want you to know what truth is.
Amen. God bless America.
God bless America, Jim.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.